I'm not running any market orders, right? I'm very filled right now. I'm at $2,500 a margin, and these are just huge tickets. In fact, I'll run out of margin. If it comes smashing up, and I don't have any margin, those tickets won't fill. The broker will ignore those tickets. So that's one thing to be aware of. Now, I'm just going to let that fill. I'm going to put some more buy stops in there because it's a demo account. So here, I'll just try to make 12 pips here. So this is a high probability of exit. This is a 5. I can trade inside the spread here too on this broker, which is a nice feature of that situation, right? So here's the buy stops. I'm going to place here. Oh, so I got enough buy stops in there. I should put the standard lot. I'll make $80 on this one ticket here. Right, $80. We walk down in. This would be now on the half-hour chart. You're going to see the precise rollover there. Can't get to my time frame. So if you go back to, okay, so you got this here. Let's delete that. Let's clean up this chart. Okay, so there you go. That's the half hour, and that was the bottom of the half hour and slightly beyond. So 5 minutes beyond that was this last, and it correlates to this right here. There was this notch in the chart there, that level. Kind of hard to see with all the orders in there, but right here is where the very edge is. And of course, it could still keep tanking another 10 pips, right? So I have buy limits I can set down here, and maybe I can set the swing trades in. This is a 25K with a 2020. So here you have a, say you set up your tickets to say, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way to 100K, right? So your smallest ticket is a mini, imagine it's a mini account, right? Because you want to prove to yourself that it works, right? A very short period of time. Trade really big, right to the edge of the account here. At $5,000 in this account. And so this would be like, hey, this is a scalp. You know that this is a 8 pip stop. You're risking you're risking $40 to make $80 here. You're risking 80 to make 100 here. So if I put this buy stop, you're risking $80. Not to mention, if the market slams down, I'm potentially filled on all these orders below. So there's a, they're either going to, I haven't blown up the account though, which is odd, Of course, very tight stops. Now, this favorites list here is so unique to this one situation with this amount of money in the account and everything, the way it's sitting percentage-wise, that you got to be, if you have to, and it's buy only right now, because the sell side's another drama. You can just trade one direction. You don't have to. There's always a buy. Now, there's always a buy in terms of, is this a buy here? And was this a buy here from a limit standpoint? Were these all good buys? Every time we dip the wick and be low closes, were those good buys? Yes. Now, how do you get in though? So it's bad enough that you're trading to begin with, right? Because it's risky. But if you only buy, then it's how do you get in? Buy stops? Now, what you need to do, if this is real money, you need to take the tickets that are pending, and this is why you just trade one currency. Another reason why you trade one currency only is, this is why people are losing the trading, they're trading 8 currencies, is that these buy stops are not the best prices in the world maybe. So as we come up, you can see that this is going to fill in about 7 pips. No, I'm sorry, this is going to fill in about 4 pips away from fill. And so you want to take off the worst ticket if you think you've oversized. Now, right now, I have free margin available. So as we come up into the price, are we going to overfill Or should we let that go and should we take off the big tickets? Now, here's a standard lot I just placed. So we've got about 10 tickets, another $300,000 we will buy if it goes up. So I'm just going to let it go. But if it was too much, I could take off the worst fill on the top. Because I'm chasing, right? We're about to get filled on this right here. We're 2 pips from fill here. Now, if I peel off this one, let's take off the orders that are too far. See right here, we'll chase it for here. But even at that point, part of you doesn't want to do that. But this is your confirmation on entry bullshit. Okay, it's going up. I'm buying along the way. So I peeled off. I'm very tight on my entries now for the stop entry technique concept. All right, very tight on the entry. So, I guess I'm broadcasting my show here. So it doesn't make, what I'm saying doesn't make sense to anybody. So turn that off. So I'm placing the talking to a chat room. So getting in here at this structure level, you know, it's all based on how much money is in the account here. So I'm gonna tighten up all my entries so I'm snugging up on the last known ATR. Now we could still crush down. Don't forget, we can still go down and blow out the bottom of this thing. Another 10 pips down, easy, right? Oh, I got my my charts off the chart here. My video's off the page here. So, getting to frame that up pretty good. So here's the thing. Now we have to wait. This is a thing I'm really not a big fan of waiting. We have to wait for this thing to. Now here is where there's sell stops and buy stops right here. You would bracket that just in the. And if you don't, you know people are doing that. You know there's an algorithm or there's a technique or there's a strategy that people employ when the market is sideways for too long. So that's so here we're just going to wait. So that's always brutal. I find that brutal. Like here, you had to wait for this one bar to set up, right? So your setup is this low ATR. Right? Here it was one too, right? You're trapped. Another thing is there is no holy grail. Now here's a great scalp. Look at the lowest ATR on the chart, right? The lowest true range. And that was a fantastic trade if you were willing to make 3 fucking pips. That was a fantastic trade. The concept is working regardless. It's a hammer in the end, right? So people would say, well, I'm going to wait for the hammer, then I'm going to put a buy stop above that, and I get picked up in the stream. This is a bullish hammer, or this is, 2 tweezers, Ever seen the tweezer trade? Japanese candlestick tweezer trade? I always thought that was a chick trade, plucking their eyebrows. But so you either stop hunt entry here, you have a pending here, and you wait all day. You can't fucking, oh my God, come on, fill me already. And then your ratio is I'm going to risk this much. This is pure auction trading. This much to make this much, right? That's auction trade. I'm going to risk, I have a sell limit here. I'm going to risk this much to make this much, right? Back into structure. This is, true structure is on the closing prices. Sorry to tell Stapletons, the Stapleton family. Double top. See the double top? You can't see double tops on wicks. Stop it with the wicks, people. Step away from your fucking candlesticks. So the true range just broke out here, right? So robots are long. And this is a vacuum too. Every time the market goes sideways, the thing it does is it creates a vacuum above and below, so it could go either way. So if you're bidirectional trader, you don't care. Have a buy stop here. Now there's people that will wait for here to get in a confirmation. That would be the breakout of, say, a 2-hour chart, right? But if you're going to buy the stop hunt, the 6:30 in the AM stop hunt, it doesn't happen to this, the stop hunt may only look like this on one day because it's already hell bent on going up, right? But there will be some kind of stuff that happens. There will be moves that happen as you come out of Europe into that thing. And you can see, oh, well, you know what? Over on this chart, so if you're placing pendings on multiple currency pairs, I'm not saying you can't. See, this is a double bottom that became a top, right? This is a double bottom that became a top. On the 15, you're walking down. The problem is people are having is that these wicks are crushing their nuts, right? So there's like, oh, I took that trade. I sold here. Yeah, I sold here at the top bottom, and I put my stop here, and they stopped me out. What the fuck, right? Well, your stop had to be here maybe, or you just have so many tickets running. You have at least 10 trades. Like look how many tickets I'm in overall here. Spreading, and these are all single drops. So this is not, there's no pixelation. There's no wallpapering of the orders. When orders are wallpapered, they're not staggered. And of course I have all this different diversification, and this is just a whipped up thing. It took me all of like, I don't know, half hour to build all that shit. You just open up each script and edit it. And this is all, they'll last a day on here. Because I just don't want to keep on putting orders in a demo. It's too much work. So if you you hit the enter key, it's going to open up the editor here, and you're just going to say, at the very top are your settings. These are single drops, and actually it says daily. It should be a daily. So here's the timestamp. So if you put in H, it's going to come H1, H4, but you can put other time frames in there. I try to give you suggestions, but don't take any of them. You can go H1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12. So, and you have the daily. That's what we're going to run, is the daily. So that's our preferred time frame here because we're lazy. And then here's your stop, 6 pips to make 12. Here's your size. So it's right at the tippy top. This is all that matters. And how long does it last? Now you can make the comments anything you want here. The comment here is buy limit day, buy stop day. Arrow's blue. If you don't want the arrow, you have to delete the comma and the word blue. Got to take that off. So you build your palette of trades here. And you also have the take all profits key ready to go, possibly, right? So inside the favorites, now if you double click a favorite, it's going to try to edit. So that's kind of awkward. Here's the, let's see. This is my close all profits per symbol, but we're just trading one symbol, so we don't have to worry about that. Here's the limit drops. So everything's in here. Here's robots that don't work. ATR bot, couldn't get it to run. You know, it's just, you have to have some discretion. You have to have some kind of clue of where you're at in the structure. So you can run an ATR bot, but it's not going to make all your money because you still got to place these pendings at a visual structural. And now a lot of people are scalping out here. They're getting out. Why are they getting out? Because if bottoms become tops, then what's the last bottom, right? What is the last floor? That's where people are getting out. The scalpers are getting out here. So say you're in this for the long haul. You're like, okay, I could see that. I could have added to my position where the scalpers are scalping. I could have added a 3K down here. So you just could be in one currency all day and make money. There's no need to go from currency to currency. I mean, people can't be monogamous in trading. They can do it, and they can married life, yeah. But they want to go from this currency to that currency. I'm like, dude, you're standing in front of a move that is so obvious. Just load the wagon. It's time to break out the 100K ticket. it's time to just accept the dollar risk. Now here you can see $80. I didn't do the math on these, but I think this is like 8 pips stop on a 50K. This is like $40. This is going to be $25 risk, 10 pips stop on a half K, right? That's 50. If I did 100K, it'd be $100. So it's $50. Here's a very wimpy order. Now, you can put the wimpy orders down here. Put the big kahuna orders on top. So you need to organize these favorites list. It's a little grueling because once you figure out that you got to drop the stuff at a certain place for it to get to that level. So here you can arrange these. So if you see an opportunity and you want to attack it, either with a buy stop here, a 10K, and say, oh, I'll put a buy stop here. Oh, confirmation. If we reject the top bottom theory here, I'll buy a 10K here, but also I'll place a buy limit back at the breakout zone, because everybody that trades breakouts in the confirmation way that they trade it is breaks out, pulls back to the breakout, then they get in, right? Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes the breakout's so fierce that it just goes shearing, right? So an example of breakout pullback would be, of course, you had to wait a long time for this entry, but you can see if you miss this breakout and you miss this move, you just put a buy limit back here to get captured on a move again, right? And I guess you kind of made money on that. I'm usually talking about the breakout where it's a breakout pullback, and the next thing it does is, so here, breakout, right? I can guarantee you that it probably pulled back to here. This is on the 5 minute, it probably pulled back a little bit. You can't see it inside of here. See, the problem is going back too far. This breakout become a pullback, put a buy limit here. Okay, but you're gonna have to have a buy limit here. You're gonna buy a vacuums, right? You kind of had to have a sell limit here. Like you have to see the trade you missed. Where the party's gone to next, like it's this roaming party. It's like a pub crawl. They go from one place to the next, So that's just how it is, They go here and they rape and pillage, and they go to the next town. And of course, the sellers are going to come in here, and you'll see the thing back off. So yes, this is happening real time. And so you could see, hey, guys are cashing out, but what if we engulf this? What if this just goes zooming up and ends up here? This is where the next batch of sellers are coming in, because this is where it all started. The whole party started right here. So this is the last known party. You go back, this is what you do. When you can't, you go back to the last party, the first party of the night. Right, there's no action at all these parties you heard about that are so cool. You go back to the last known party. So here would be the big sell window, right? So people are cashing out up into here, obviously. Watch it back off. So it's obvious, right? It's obvious seller's window, right? They're going to come in there. We're cashing out too a little bit. So our 8 pips or 10 pips. So they backed off a little bit there. The sellers are really going to come in here, right? Really going to come in. And then it could shoot back about 3 pips. And you can see this if you're arbitraging against another broker, which that's what I'm doing here, is I'm looking at 2 brokers, right? And I'm looking at the true range breakout. And of course, here comes the magical top of the hour. So that whole move there, that stop hunt, was that quick and dirty. It's like over, right? Okay, now see, the sellers came in here. See how that worked out? So sell limits were triggered here. That was the cash out point for anybody that bought here. You can see how it backed off. Now, buy limits would be here and say all the way down. Now, how much money do you have in the account? Did you just make $1,000 or just make $30 there? If you did, get the fuck out. Right? This is telling you this is your target. Now, if you want to hold this trade for the next month, maybe you're just going to see that, take that into consideration, and you're going to add. And now confirmation is you put in limits here, right? We've seen the move. So if you are trading confirmation, so I don't understand why people wait for this ultimate confirmation. Okay? We just got a confirmed rally. It's bullish. Let's put in buy limits here. Just in case it pulls back, because just in case we have the fucking brains to see that the sellers are going to come in here, right? They tripped the last breakout, boom, 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 and the buy stop bots fill, but guess what? Ride's over, people. Right back into this, right? This is the log jam. So maybe we do have to pull back here. You're going to buy more, and then you're going to anticipate another run. It's happening blow by blow. You don't need Bollinger Bands. You don't need a 200 period moving average. You don't need RSI. You just see price action, right? But you want to trade before the action. On a volatility breakout, you want to be in before the action. The action, when I hear price action trading, I think limits, right? Because you're going to capture these wicks on this drama. Now, this guy's trapped on the 4-hour breakout bot. He's shitting his pants, right? He's trapped. He sold that. Is he have a buy stop here for stop and reverse? This is Bill Williams technique. Plus, without the Bill Williams dumbass fractals, which take forever to form, just consider this the fractal. Each bottom is a fractal, and now you have a buy stop here, so right. See the vacuums, or you have a buy stop here. This is 4-hour though, so you have to wait a long time. Where this one, you're already in, right? You're already in, and if this gets very small ATR, then you could put on a buy stop here now. If this drifts back and we get a baby vacuum on top, see another thing about trailing buy stops that your hand plays here, there's no fill. Now you just went long here. If you didn't take any of these off, these will automatically fill as we go up, right? If you didn't take anything off the table, right? If you let these, which I didn't, I took off everything that was underwater. So I have no tickets underwater right now. So assume a maximum zoom in, and let's take a look at the platform. So if I go by profit, everything except for this ticket, this is 25K. I'm underwater on this one ticket. About to cash out on these. These are standard lots. This is very tight. This is maybe make $200 here. That'll be my that'll pad the account. Now it's only taking me back to the $5,000 that I had originally, right? Because I'm in so big margin here, and like it's just not real money, so not really paying a ton of attention to it. Here's a daily view. Huge swings, huge stop hunts here. Take a look at the ledge here. I'm really surprised that I didn't hear from Calvin telling me that it hit 110, because I have a feeling that a lot of people got out here and they didn't give a fuck if it went to 110. In fact, the guy that traded this made more money than the guy that range traded this thing, right? So range trading rules. You know, having a target of 110 is. I couldn't have waited that long to make that money. And besides, if I'd sold here, all I can tell you is if I would have sold here, and this ATR breakout of this thing here, and here's another ATR breakout right here, low right down here, I can guarantee you I'd be cashing out of the whole trade here at the stop hunt. This big stop hunt. This is the supply zone, right there. I'm this level right here. Right. We know that there are stops galore in there. So we buy these up. We make 200 fucking pips, right? In 2 days, we make 200 pips into another sell. So if you range trade a trend, right? You're not really trend trading. If you you're trend trading if you sold here and then you got out here. But how do you explain this on your, like this kind of move, right? How do you explain this 120 pips here? So are you willing to buy new lows? Can you let go of Gartley's, and can you let go of pitchforks, and can you let go of MACD and trade bar by bar? Can you go to the level of where the market's at, bar by bar, like this? Who had the balls to put an order here and buy this and then just get the fuck out when we came up into here? And right here, this is a 10 pip stop hunt to here. See that there's right there is right at the edge of the wick. Right there. Do you need anything? Is any MACD going to show you that entry? The new small ATRs, breakout, pullback, small ATRs, 2 days of small ATRs, back at a top becoming a bottom? Here you don't get a top bottom. This pulls back. You have to buy the stop hunt. So you buy the stop hunt, trailing stops. Here is low ATR, and there's a you can't see it in here, but at the very top of here, there's a 10 pip stop hunt, right? 10 pips of stop hunt. This oh jeez, here, fuck, can't see it because the price stickers in the way. But this here is a grid of 10 pips. 10 fucking pip grid with the 50s in dark. 50 pip handles in dark. Now this is a 20 pip window. Your sell limits are up with this 20 pip window, right? Now how long did you wait to get filled on that? Is that better than waiting for a fucking Gartley? I can't even believe these guys are still on that Gartley shit. Jesus Christ, man. Let it go. Let people make some fucking money on volatility breakout strategies, for God's sakes. Why do they do that to people? Empowered trading. Dude, take your head out of your ass. How long are these fuckers going to... And then, Then they sit there and preach education. You don't fly a plane without learning what to attack. Dude, if you're in a plane, let me tell you something. If you're in a plane and the pilot dies, you grab the fucking knobs and you go, oh, this seems to do that. What the fuck? You watch the guy. You're sitting next to him. Your life's in danger. Jesus Christ. You should be able to jump into any fucking car on the planet and drive it. Oh, the steering wheel's on the wrong side. Okay, I'll get used to it. So, right, you just adapt. You adapt, innovate, and overcome. You adapt, you innovate, and you overcome. This is how you progress. So, you can't just live in the past, right? That's Jethro Tull, right? So, come on. Can't we just trade what's in front of us, for God's sakes? What the fuck is this? Well, see, what I'm going to do is, there's a Gartley here. I don't think you understand Gartley, son. What we have here is this is a Batwing. Okay, and our target's here. Okay, but dude, when you were up here, didn't you want to get the fuck out and go get drunk? Like, no, I wrote all these. Okay, that's not me. It's not me. I'm not waiting this long to get paid. When I can get paid, when I can sell here and I can range trade this here, and based on, like, look at this chart. Are you kidding me? Look at this look at this retest. Just a retest, range trading this. Okay, you can tell me how you sold here and you rode it all the way down, right? That's great. But in the meantime, since these moves rarely occur, right? Here's a big sell-off. Then how do you explain this to your wife, right? Well, honey, we're short, but I'm trying to manage it with stops, and oh yeah, I couldn't wait for this is the redistribution, the final markdown, right? So you chopped, or you started buying here, right? Now, if you started buying here, there's people that would buy all the way down here, and they'd hold underwater until we saw this. Of course, if this is a 1 hour chart, if you started buying new lows here, people are like, I can't believe you're buying the dollar yen. I go, I can't believe I'm buying it either. But when you get down here and you martingale up, you're in so heavy here. Plus, this is an accumulation phase. Anytime you see zigzags. So there's zigzags inside the zigzags there, right? So if this comes to here, this is be your scalp, right? Your exit. If you bought new lows, you bought just right here at the edge, new lows, right? Just like if you sold just at the edge, new highs. So that's the genius entry, is you're selling high and you're buying low, right? But see that as the true range changes, this is a 50 pip grid, the big lines are 50 pips. You're talking about a 300 pips slam down. Well, yeah, what's the cause for the effect? What is the cause for the effect on this shit? It's the vacuum's filling. So the low ATR, or low weekly range, this is the daily chart. You're in a 100 pip range here. You have a double top. When this thing spills, it's just filling this hole, really. Look at this giant hole it needs to fill. You get I'm sure, the most perfect divergence in RSI right here, because RSI is based on close. Another reason why you don't need candlesticks. If I put up RSI here, I'm an RSI expert, just saying. So I can see it in my mind's eye. I don't need to run RSI, but I will, just to prove RSI is based on close. Why you need closing prices on your screen, not this bullshit with the candlestick fucking shit. Jesus Christ. So I'm going to go yellow. And this will be a complete corollary to price. And I put this on, I got the wrong, I put the wrong indicator in. Oscillator. Relative strength index, which is a real true index, right? Yellow here. 3 period. It's good to go, right? Boom. I get rid of my... Now, here is a beautiful divergence in RSI. And when you do RSI, at least when I do it, because I want to see divergence. As Akil Stokes said, he traded divergence. So in case he's watching, I'm sure he doesn't. He's probably out watering the lawn, but I can't get out of drawing mode here to save my life. Okay, so I'm looking at RSI from this standpoint here. So let's split this thing. So divergence in RSI, to me, it's hard to see it. This is that steep right there. This top compared to this top, I mean, that is extreme divergence. This correlates to this. It's hard to believe. It looks offset for some reason. Here's your double bottom of divergence, plus this hidden divergence because it's engulfed this big slam down here. So this big smash here, right, correlates to that. So you have this, and plus you do tops to become bottoms here. This here's a top becoming a bottom in RSI, so you'd buy here, right? You buy for that bounce there. Then you have your divergence here, real long-legged, right, off of this. Then this is the pullback. But here's your top become bottom. So top become bottom theory, once when you see it on RSI, it's like 3 steps ahead. Right, that kind of structure. This is how I was taught RSI. That when it goes up here, you're in an uptrend. So you're taking the pullbacks. But structurally speaking, this would become the corollary on the downside is the bottoms become tops, right? Which is this cell here. So if you try to fit this range to this structure, it is the trend. This is the index of the range of this down move, right? This is boxing out. This is becoming a box range where this is the trend down. Then when you bust through this big smash up, you get a top bottom in price and you're getting top bottom in the structure of RSI simultaneously. So top become bottom in RSI at the same point that you broke out. Like this is where you trap these guys. You pull back. You have a pull back to structure here, and this is the floor. So, and this is like the fair value area of RSI. So now you have this divergence, right? Big divergence. Now you got a triple divergence right now in daily RSI 3 period. Triple divergence. 1, 2, 3. That's severe. Plus, if you break this, bam. Then this is supposed to be the top. Become a bottom. Come back to this. So you leap above here. When it pulls back to here, the confirmation buyers come in after it breaks out here. But we're buying the divergence as it happens right now. Here's your divergence here. Flat top. No divergence on these three, right? And this is also forming a triangle wedge. So if you take chart patterns, people that trade Gartleys probably see a million Gartleys on here if you know how to draw Gartley, right? So you can see here's your X to your A to your B to the C, right? And then you buy in here. But see, this doesn't yield too much because this bottom is becoming a top. And if you're just using RSI as overbought, oversold, it's kind of overboughtish. So maybe you sell, like this would be your perfect setup, so to speak. Bottom becomes a top structurally, and you're overbought like crazy, right? So you just nail it and just hit it on the clock there at the end of the day. Of course, that didn't make a lot of money either. This was not a big winning trade. This was the big winner. And if you're on the 4-hour chart, you probably see a different setup. But RSI, I don't use it because I can just see it in my mind's eye. When I see this, I know there's a triple divergence. And if I have 5-period RSI, so if you take it down a notch, because this is pretty extreme, very extreme settings. If I put this on a 5-period RSI, we'll take it down a notch off the ceiling. And of course, this is why I do stretch out the chart for high drama like this, because to really see divergence, you nearly have to have this going on. So down here, you did not get divergence. This is why I'm using that 3-period, because this is divergence on the 3-period right here. So this is a baby version of this. Now this is a long-legged daily divergence. Not to say that this can't smash down and crush everybody with a wick and end up closing. In other words, here's divergence, right? Kind of. Actually, this is it here. See, you're not getting it. See, that's why I have it set to 3. So there's not even divergence here. So I think 3-period RSI is the ultimate. This, it's just overbought, oversold here. You're not really going to see any signals show up. I don't think so. So anyways, going back. So here's the, so we see the sellers came in here, right at the floor, right? So hopefully we scalped out of that. Now what we're going to do is come in with buy limits again, the confirmation entry, and see if I would have been paying attention, I could have just taken all profits right there. See how they trapped everybody right at this pivot. So we knew the sellers are coming in, but if we're in for the long haul, we're just going to buy here on pullbacks now. So I can buy this doji right here. If we retest that doji, so here is, right here, we're buying the stop hunt here too. 15-minute stop hunt. So people are like, oh yeah, I'm buying that. See, if the spread was too wide, we didn't get filled on this buy limit sitting at this previous thing here. Plus we have them all. This is a perfect hammer too. Now notice the candlestick pattern. But if I go out one level of zoom, it just becomes a bar. But once you get used to looking at just the fact that you close in the middle of the bar, I call it a doji. Where you open doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Like the open doesn't matter. Just the close, because if you have open, then you're talking about, it's like the old joke, with these guys in the movie, they count to 3 and the guy's thinking, well, you mean on 4 after 3, like 1, 2, 3, go? or is it 1, 2, go, right? 1, 2, 3, go, or 1, 2, go, right? Big fucking difference, right? The difference between making it, not making it. So that's another thing to consider, right? Is you're off by one, you're chasing, right? I don't know if anybody's ever chased the market and got clobbered. I did. I think I still do in some regard. I'm not chasing, but saying, oh, you know what? I should add to this position. Then when it reaches its climax, do you dump the whole thing because you have no problem reloading, because psychologically you don't mind the drama of reloading. In fact, you like trading. It turns out you like trading. It's not about the money. It's about execution, about, hey, did I place that order at the right spot? Was I right? Let the market prove you right. Alexander Elder. Put the buy limit down here. If it's a real stop hunt, you should get filled on that one strategy for that one move, for that $1 amount, for this, whatever you set up on your palette. So, you know, what is the, you know, what's the trade plan? And then all these little trade plans you run, like, oh, I make $40 here, make $60 there. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe you're up $1,000, $2,000, right? All the little trades you put on, and it's just from one direction. I could take all profits right now. I hit the take all profit key. In fact, why don't I do that? Show you that trading is not investing. Take all profits. I'll be underwater on like a 10K here. Just clear the decks. There's plenty of drama to come. It's only 7:30 in the morning. And we're coming up on 1 hour from the stop hunt right now. So a confirmation traders might get in here. So we can get only in 170. We can come right back in here with 50Ks. Now maybe I want to risk, I want to put it in a 5K that risk 25K. I'll overpay here because I have a 20 pip stop on that. So I'm chasing now because I dumped out. Problem is, see, I just got out of a great amount of margin. So now I got to think of a way, how can I get back in the market? On the slightest pullback without overpaying. And this broker lets me trade inside the spread. So I can place them pretty much right where we're at. Now I can reload that whole sizing here. Now this is 25K with a 20 pip stop on limits just below price. Because I don't have any fear that I'm going to miss out. I've seen the market gyrate. Okay, I've seen it go up and down. If I want to look for a pullback, all I have to do is go here and say, you know what? How about I put a order right on top of the close? Fuck the high, fuck the high. Right here. Right there. Right here. It's coming back. I can run a trailing buy stop above. I'm getting in a range, a very tight range, and a lot of money. I can get it back into 100K real easy. Here's a buy limit here with a 6 pip stop. Here's to make 12. I can do the same. I can get in the same trouble I was in before. It's the same thing you notice with women. If ever count a woman into being with you, then you realize it's easy. So the first time I got married, I thought, God, that was easy. When can I get another wife? I can't believe she believed me. So like here, buy stop. So you get right back into trouble here real easy. And so if you're taking profits, people say, well, you know, you can't take, why not? I'm not trying to make 12 pips here. I've already put in like I'm going to put a $1 million position I've got sitting here. Just dragging and dropping these. And this is quite a risky thing. This is break even. Just keep running this script here, 25K. And then here, the stop hunt, right? So you want to buy that stop hunt too. Leave enough dry powder to buy that stop hunt there. And just drag it right to the actual ledge. And here, doji, right? We want to buy order here. And let's put some hairy scalps in. This is 8 pips. Stop to make. It's a 50K, 8 pips here. We'll put one here. And we'll put one down here. Of course, these last all day. Now I'm going to put a trailing buy stop above with an 8 pip. As soon as this goes up, confirmation, We're still stop hunting there. Okay, that's 5-minute pullback. And here's 10 pip stop right here. And here, don't forget there's stops down here. And there's stops all the way down to Memphis. So all these orders are all day long down here too. Okay, now I put a buy stop on top of this bar, on top of this bar here. Because we knew the sellers are going to come in here. So how do we know the sellers are coming out here without using Fibonacci? You see this triple treetop? You see the triple rooftop? You knew sellers are coming in there. 5-minute chart, right? Now they're filling my buy limits. Now they're really filling them, and I'm all the way back into almost $3,000 in margin. Boom. All right. So this big smash up, like I said, painfully obvious. Once we fill the vacuum, here comes the sellers in. Right? Pretty stupid, huh? So you could have made your 10 pips, but you had to know when to get the fuck out. When you take profits, right here, you got to get out. Unless you're going to hold this for the big run. Now, we can't take this low out, or that means that that's big trouble, right? That means we're done. It's going down. So now we're back to the fair value of this last price pulse established this to be the new fair value. We're in the middle of fair value right now. We're at the lower range of the entry of this whole thing. If you scalped, if you bought this thing here, your exit had to be here. Your first exit was here. It just had to be. There's no way around it. You had to get out on that white line on something, and here you had to get out on the whole position if you're in for a half-hour, 1-hour trade. If that's your whole life, then that's it, right? So you could do a trend line here too. Also, we just created a triangle trend line here. And so we bought here on the pullback. If we go to the 5-minute, we see the trend line can correlate to the 5-minute. So we can switch those time frames. Half hour, not so much. Half hour is very shallow. So it's a very small true range. We're actually, if we build a position below this area here and hold it and don't add on anything Goober style on breakouts here, like that would be the Goober entry. They got buy stops here. They got buy stops here. All this confirmation, right? Well, I'm waiting for it to take this out. Yeah, Harold, that's right. When we get in here, this is when the real breakout is. That's right, Joe. And we put our stops down here because we got a ton of money. And what we do here is we're going to get in here. And as soon as we get filled on there, we're going to come in with our stop right here. We're only risking this much, and we're looking to make this much. We're going to get out here. We're going to get on the floor here. 10 pips above the 50-yard line. We're going to get out here and call it a day. Okay, if you did this, here comes the news, and we fill this vacuum and pow, right? You're out, you're up, or here. How about you just get out the fuck here? Yeah, get out the fuck there. Right there, the sellers are coming in there. The ride's over for if you are in and you just made $1,000 or you made $100, whatever your thing is, you get out because guess what? You can put buy limits here. Now, the day's going to be over soon. And there may not be a ricochet back to this floor. So if you can imagine, bam, bam, like imagine the market zigzagging in a, you could just have a scenario, right? But we'll have a problem I have with empowered trading scenarios. They go something like this. Well, we know that there's sellers up here, so we're gonna sell here with a stop here and ride it back to here. Well, why not just get the fuck in here and ride it up to there? Right? Or why not put a buy limit here and trade this ricochet? Or why not, So that's what's brutally annoying watching. I was trying to watch another video today. A guy was trying to describe volatility systems. I mean, it was painful. If you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, like me, shut the fuck up, right? I mean, if you've never sat there and traded live and just sat there and gone blow by blow, what is the trade now? Gun to your head trading like Russian roulette. Deer hunter, one shot. What the fuck is the trade, right? Spin the roulette wheel. Take the risk, right? Take the punishment. But this has been proven, the fact that the market cannot go sideways forever and it cannot go up and down forever. That's been proven. That it's not need any back testing. Next question is, how tight are your stops? So here I have super tight, 3 pip stop. Are you kidding me? And I've gotten stopped out a lot of shit here. Sure, look at the metrics here. I've strictly on this last demo, I'm strictly trading these orders. No market orders. I did take profits though there. That's my first take out profits. Now I can't intervene. I don't think there's any problem getting the fuck out because I just got in more margin now than I was in before. So you have to know when. I don't care if you set your target to 10 pips. It doesn't mean shit really. If this is real money, I would be up. I was up $300. And I see that I'm not going to make my $1,000 because sellers are coming on board. I just get out. Right, bank it and come back. Bank it and come back because what's the point, right? If you see how easy it was to dump that and get another wife, I dumped her, left her at the courthouse, and in the parking lot there was this hot chick on the way to the car. And I was like, holy shit, it's like I didn't have so excited. I told the new girl, you wouldn't believe this. I just got divorced. So let's go out. Let's go out and party. Okay, so we just got filled here on the pullback on the 30-minute, and that is the confirmation entry for the breakout traders. They did not get filled on their, if they were too cheap, they did not get filled here. You can see that they buyed the pullback to this top, and that's if the spreads weren't tight, they'd not get filled. Now they're hoping that this is going to break this trend line and get followed through, but not so fast. See, it's still pulling back. All right, so maybe they will get filled after all. I have buy limits down here, by the way. Big buy limits here. Plus, maybe waiting for the ATR to calm down here. And if this ATR goes sideways on the 15-minute, in the next 10 minutes, if we get a small bar here, you can pretty much guess that the breakout traders or the robots that are protecting the sellers, right? Because the robot's going to place a protective order here, and the breakout traders have, because we have a vacuum, the last known vacuum is this vacuum. So, but we might still fill back into here, right? And crush all the hopes and dreams of every bull. We would buy those again. Because maybe that's got to happen, right? There's not enough fuel on board to get us to take out this high right now. So maybe we do have to slice down. Come in all these limits, there's a bunch of dry powder here. And these are big tickets sitting here. This is 25K, here's a 50. So maybe we are going to get filled after all. Still plenty of time here. News is coming out in 1 hour. Big news. So a lot of people just, it's just big setting up here for a big move here. And just before the news, you might see a move and you might just get out there because if it goes up before the news, you might just get out because it's such a big move, right? And right here, as soon as you get to here before the news, people will be selling into that. People will be selling here. If we take out this, so all this pressure, this is the big vacuum here. Now, is this vacuum done filling down here? Well, you kind of have to get above this line, pull back, and somehow, if this is considered fair value here, or anything in the middle of the road here, so it's the fair value inside the fair value. So it's a fractal upon fractal. There is no, it's fair now, right? And if this quiets down here and the buy stops get filled right here, that's confirmation for the guy that's a buy stop. He's long. Now he's going to put his protection behind here. Right now the trailing stops are here for people that are long, and they think that this is the first pullback in a move that would clear this top here. For the seller's standpoint, they're short right now, and they have sell buybacks here for protection. So if they're wrong, they're buy stops will fuel the breakout this way. If the guys that are afraid of losing have the robot designed to put sell stops in here, they will fuel a move this way. So we're right at the apex of, or they will chop these guys and go below the round number and then come ripping back up, right? So it's going to get pretty dicey, and so the clock's counting down here into the news. But I hope that explains the breakout thing here. So here's a breakout. That's what they look like. I can't say they're the best trades in the world, but you have to realize that that's the market's it's going to go into this larger breakout that fails on the 4-hour. So we go back to the 4-hour chart. Take a look at this thing here. Like 4-hour world. See what it looks like. This is the go to the 4-hour. I had the other brokers set up to give me just pure breakout stuff. Okay, see, he's trapped right now. He's trapped below. He's trapped here. He's actually just slightly. He was up on the trade for a little bit there. Okay, now he's giving it back. Now, if he has buy stops here to fractally just get long here, not waiting for that Williams garbage. This is too much. Who can wait this long? Okay, so where's my 15-minute chart? So here is the, go to the 5-minute chart, right? So here's the 5-minute breakout. Right? ATRs dropped down because we can't wait for the 15 because they already crushed it. See, the ATR is too big here. You missed it here. It was the 5-minute. So what does a 5-minute bot think? Well, he thinks buy stop, sell stop. He places a buy stop and sell stop here. That was my dream bot, is that it puts buy stop here, sell stop here. Very difficult to design, apparently. Same thing here. That's the entry. So you're only getting in here. You're only getting in here. No trades here. Maybe here, slightly. Here for sure, right? Here for sure. And we got to get above this. We got to get above that. We need some drama to happen here. So depending on how the news, just before the news, if we are up to the floor here, a lot of people will be getting out, regardless of this beautiful divergence here. All right, you can see the if you go to the 4-hour chart here. Okay, this is 4-hour total zoom in. Here's total zoom in on the. Doesn't seem to be zoomed in enough, right? So the way to get around that is to take your chart and scooch it up like this. And this will give you the blow-by-blow hourly drama. So trading is really simple and crude and stupid because we're breaking this bar out here, right? If you go to the half hour and take a look at that same trade, you're like, okay, well, the guy that went long here, let's see, the guy that went long here is, he went long here and maybe got stopped out, right? But maybe he put a stop in that was just without structure. It was just like, hey, I'm going to risk, I know I'm going to buy here. I'm going to risk 20 pips. Because I perceive this last known vacuum, this big down smash here, to create a vacuum above for me to place a buy stop, right? And if we take this out, I'm expecting this to shear off the treetops here. I'll just smack up and go to 111, right? In the end, maybe here, but just to here for starters, right? So where is that price on here is, if you zoom in here, right, you're talking about this price. So force a zoom in. You can take it down to this level. And of course, to really force it, you would just take away your RSI and fix your scale, because you're trading for pips, not patterns. And so here, where is the exit door on the closing from yesterday's pivot? A pivot is a turning point. So here's a pivot right there. So 110.24. A lot of people are going to get the fuck out there. Now, if you violate that and engulf the news comes out and this thing comes roaring back, where's the next pivot is going to be this. So all these prices, and this is, so maybe you take 20% of the position off here and then let the rest go to here. And maybe you are anticipating a full auction where it takes out the highs of the whole week. So we started off, and actually right here. So this is let's see, we have this Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Wild Wednesday is the stop hunt. So if you sold here in this window here, see if Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Tuesday, big stop hunt here. It comes back here, so it's hunt to hunt, and they're trapping these breakout guys here. So some person's trap is another guy's entry too. So one guy's trap is the other guy's entry, just like down here, say, trap and go to here, and then come back the other way, right here. Somebody sold up into this, and they're trapping, hoping it pulls back. Plus, they'll be selling all the way into here. And their trade is that they'll sell up into that, and when it comes back to here, they get out. So to get on the train, you have to go to the 5-minute chart. You got to get on a 5-minute train to make it to the half-hour station, right? You got to think in terms of this back and forth. So if you go to the 5-minute, you can see, okay, well, the 5-minute traders already took their profits. They're gone. They've had it, right? There's no more trades for ATR breakouts in the 5-minute. You missed your entry here. So are you selling new highs here? Pretty scary, right? But people are selling new highs here, all the way up into here for a kickback. The target for the bulls too. That's the bulls' target. It'll be the first challenge point. Next challenge point, right here. You know, it's just stupid. Would you sell there for because you're going to go down 50 pips, maybe? What's the big picture is a little bit different story, because if this happens to be a real double top here, if this is a real pivot, a top become a bottom, maybe this is the top bottom structure that's going to lead for the next 4 hours. Right, that's going to be and then we go smashing up and we start taking out. We got to get above this, right? So if we get a nasty smash above that, then you can see all the exit points here. And I actually, without even all these targets are just set hard. They just happen to be in this level. This is why random lines are just throwing a number out there. Like, you think the market's going to 110, you think it's going to 102, you think it's going to 380. Okay, you might be right in the long run, but how did you get there? How did the market get there? Could you have ridden it to that level, realistically, in a big enough position so you could have a bunch of money, right? Because everybody wants to get rich and make a bunch of money trading. No, you probably couldn't. Once you see how vicious, even a half-hour chart is, you say, oh, geez, oh, Christ. Of course, in the landscape of things, you don't even see this move here. Like, this is a lot of money very quickly. This retracement here is kind of, it's a high probability, right? You're buying here, but this is kind of a choppy. This is bash. You just made money. Zoom. You just made money. Now it's like, oh boy, trapped in the malaise. This is the doldrums. There's no wind at sea, so you have doldrums. There's nothing to compel this thing to break. Either way, here was the trap here, and there was a trap on the top. So you can see the two traps. And you're just kind of mulling around in here. So we're either going to spill this way or we're going to go this way. And it's not going to be a perfect move. You know, it could be breakout, pullback. It could slam both ways. It could actually end up going like this when the news comes out. So all that's possible. You know, path of least resistance is going to be this vacuum here and then this vacuum here. So right now you're forming this without putting Bollinger Bands and all that nonsense on there. You can get your own brain around, oh, you know, it looks like we're just trapped in a 20 pip range there, Jed. Yeah, why is that so inconceivable? The common sense is so lacking. Because it is in every other field too. You know, they got these things like how to... I guess it matters in Madison Avenue, but how to pick out clothes for the day. I remember the first time I put on socks that didn't match, and the ridicule that came upon me, I thought, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, actually, at that point, I noticed that some of my socks had been washed more than the others, and being colorblind, and I thought, well, you know, these guys look like they've been washed the equal amount, because if I had a bunch of blue socks, I'm like, I better pick the ones that have been in the same cycle, because it's going to look slightly different. People are going to accuse me. No, actually, that was a sock that was overwashed. It doesn't have anything to do with my overall sock picking. I can pick socks, but I can't pick a stock, right? I can pick my socks out. So here's a possible breakout lunge. The top of the hour is coming. Maybe this is the short squeeze. Maybe we get a pop, and maybe we dump, reload, news is coming out. We don't know. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.